Alright, so today we're gonna take a look at the Haylou GT1 Plus. It's the upgraded chipset version of the GT1. Still in the same small case, but of course with a new chipset inside. We're gonna compare it to the GT1 Pro. Which Haylou should you get? We're gonna find out in this video. But of course, let's take a look at the specs first. So this Bluetooth 5.0, of course, nice in 2020. Of course, with aptX and AAC codecs. Of course, aptX will improve your sound delivery from your phone. Of course, to your TWS. IPX5 waterproof, so it can survive some splash. 4 hours to 4.5 hours of battery life in the lobes, so slightly better than your previous. I'm still with micro USB though, so of course in 2020 I wish you have USB-C. Build wise is largely the same as the GT1 and the GT1 Pro, with some slight difference in the finish. So it's slightly more matte, slightly more frosted, slightly more grayish, but it's not that far off. It's slightly, I would say, more premium. It's still, quite in the cheap side of things. This is not your premium, kind of build. So build is mostly plastic. You still have magnets in the case and also in the lobes. And the hinge is not, the most premium build still. Small lobe as well and minimalist design, but still, again, a more kind of frosted design as your previous. In terms of pairing out of all the lot, this is where I had some issues with the GT1 Plus. So this one for me took the longest time to pair. So I did try around 5 times to pair compared to my previous, but after pairing it did work fine. Also, in terms of latency, I tested the GT1 Plus in both Android and iOS, aptX without aptX. So in iOS, there's a definitely noticeable delay. When using it in Android with aptX though, it's definitely better latency. It's around 50 to 80 ms, so it's barely noticeable, but it is still there. But without aptX, definitely it's more noticeable. It's around 120 ms. So definitely, if you're gonna buy the GT1 Plus, you would want your phone to support aptX if you want to maximize the features of the GT1 Plus. So compared to the GT1 Pro, compared to iOS and Android, I find that the GT1 Pro's gaming mode is still superior to the GT1 Plus in terms of the latency. So definitely, if you value latency over anything else, the GT1 Pro might be your pick. Also, stability is a bit off for me here. Sometimes I did encounter some stutters, and also the connection rate is not that far compared to your previous Haylous. So yes, connection wise, this is one of my major issue here. It's not the most stable. It also doesn't have the highest connection range. First, this is the mic quality of the Haylou GT1 Plus. So it's still a little bit muffled. Can definitely understand it, but of course it's not the best mic. And now I'm playing some background noise so you can hear how it cancels out the noise. So I'm not playing with the looping 10 hours of people talking. So this is the sound quality that you might get, outside when there's noise. Controls work pretty good. One tap to play and pause touch control, and also double tap to move front and back in your track. So yes, overall build quality and functionality, they're largely the same as your previous Haylous, of course, except for that connection issue. Sometimes there is a stutter here. This is the overall sound though. This is where the Haylou GT1 Plus shines. So the sound here, I would say, is the best among all the Haylous. Firstly, as you can see from the graph, it's a balanced kind of sound with a slight bass elevation, but definitely compared to your other Haylous, this is the most balanced of them all. So firstly, this is a little bit more revealing, a little bit more detailed compared to your GT1 Pro. U-shaped sound, and as you can see from the graph as well, there's no peaks here. It's quite level kind of graph. Smooth in presentation, musical, still, and lively sounding as well. So while this one is more detailed than the Pro, the detail of course is not mind-blowing. It's still pretty average in the grand scheme of things. It's nothing to write home about. So the bass is in the boomy side, definitely prominent in the mix. Typical Haylou, I'd say, typical house sound of Haylou. Warmish sound overall. So bass heads may actually survive with this one. Mids are pretty clear. It's more in the thin side of presentation. Quite revealing, but of course still the vocal positioning is a little bit more recessed than what I would like. But I would say it's nearly there compared to the other Haylous. High still has that shimmer on top, but not as peaky as the other Haylous. This is a little bit more controlled. This still has a little bit of peakiness on top, so some cymbals may sound a bit thin compared to other non-Haylous. So like in Heroes of Our Time on Dragon Force, the cymbals sounded thin and a bit hissy as well. The stage is average, not that big. Imaging is average as well, so nothing to write home about. Separation is also pretty average with that kind of smooth sound. Separation is not that black and white. So in terms of the overall sound, the main selling point here, of course, is the a little bit more detail retrieval and also the balanced sound. So definitely, if you like a balanced kind of sound, this might be the pick for you. Right, so versus the GT1 Pro, so one of the major advantage of the GT1 Pro, it has better latency. The GT1 Pro has a gaming mode, and that definitely works like a charm. So the latency is better. There's also better battery life in the charging case of the GT1 Pro. It's 800 milliamperes versus around 300 milliamperes and the Plus. So definitely, if you are a power user and you use your TWS and you don't want to charge it from time to time, again, the Pro might be the one for you. Also, better connectivity for me in the Pro. It's more stable connection. So cons in the GT1 Pro, of course, is it doesn't have aptX, and of course the GT1 Pro has less sound quality. Also compared to the GT2, so actually the GT2 is more close to the GT1 Plus in terms of the overall sound, but the GT2 is slightly more bright on top. It's slightly more tweaked, but of course still has that Haylou kind of sound. But definitely, yes, the GT2 doesn't have aptX though. Latency is still pretty good with the GT2, and also the GT2 has that case with the USB as well. So there's some advantages with having built-in USB over there. But of course, yes, in terms of the overall sound, I do like the GT1 Plus more than the GT2, but the GT2 is not that far off. Alright, so verdict. So what do I think about the GT1 Plus? If you want the best sounding Haylou, for me, the GT1 Plus is the pick for you. Nice tuning, a little bit more detail retrieval, and of course that aptX, better sound delivery to your TWS. However, as I mentioned, there's some connection issues sometimes. It's not the most stable, and also the case is pretty small. It's not the biggest battery that you can pick up, and also the latency. So of course, if you don't value sound quality that much, if you value more the features, actually the GT1 Pro might be the better pick for you. That's a bigger battery, of course, that gaming mode, and frankly speaking, even if the GT1 Plus has better sound quality, it's not that far off compared to the GT1 Pro. You'll still survive with the GT1 Pro. So yeah, if you don't like the utmost sound quality, you might want the GT1 Pro, especially with that gaming mode. It's just more versatile in the GT1 Pro. So that is our review and the comparison also with the GT1 Pro. Frankly, for me, I am hoping that the next Plus will have the battery life of the Pro, the gaming mode of the Pro, and still has that sound quality. I think that will be a more perfect Haylou, but we don't have that yet for now. But hopefully we can have that in the future. But of course, if you learned something, leave a like and subscribe for more content like this in the future. And of course, what do you think of the GT1 Plus versus the GT1 Pro? Which one fits your needs? Are you more of a sound quality guy, or are you more of a features latency kind of guy? Let me know down in the comments below. And of course, stay tuned for the ultimate comparison of sub $30 TWS here in this channel. It just takes a lot of time measuring everything, and I'm putting top 10, top 5. So stay tuned for that. It will be up really soon, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.